Well, it's time for episode 419 of the 3 Point Podcast. As always, we are presented by the Memorial Healthcare Wellness Center. Make sure you check out the outdoors and free yoga flow outdoor class coming up Saturday, August 15th. An hour, 10:15 to 11:15. If you're any age and just thinking about trying out yoga, why not do it outdoors at the Wellness Center for absolutely free? I think it's a great way to maybe get exposed to it. I don't know if either one of you guys have done yoga. If you do get into it, it can be pretty strenuous. I mean, it's definitely a core strengthening exercise program for sure.
It's tough for sure. I've done hot yoga quite a bit. And I sweat a lot in general, but you want to talk about getting a sweat in, do some hot yoga. I mean, but you really get a good stretch. So that's a good offered class.
Absolutely.
Yoga, and I'm normally not a big workout classes guy. I do understand it, but I would say if there's something for sure that's worth doing in a group setting, it's yoga. So that's cool that they're offering that, and then why not do it right outside? So that's very cool.
Yeah, any details, just check them out on Facebook and you can find out how to get involved. Also want to thank our other great partners that include AZee Branding Agency, Blackstone's Public House, one of the great restaurants and pubs in our area, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori Associates Real Estate Services, the Lebowsky Center for Performing Arts, Mars Furniture and Mattress Barn, also Nichols Painting, Pickpocket Sports and Outdoors, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair. I think last week I said it was going to be a couple weeks down the road, but man, it's Fair Week right now. I went out there. Yeah, I went out there Friday night. Chi-Town actually performed out there. They had a grand opening like Friday and Saturday night prior to where the fair officially opened on Sunday. And it was a great idea, man. They had the beverage tent all set up. Chi-Town sounded good crowd out there. It's neat to see them expanding their horizons.
Yeah, that is a good way to kick off Fair Week altogether. A couple good concerts. That's a good idea.
100%. By the way, our sponsor Spotlight, Nelson House Funeral Homes, here to serve you, your family, and your friends every step of life's most difficult times. Let them help you honor your loved ones the most meaningful way possible and represent his or her life and your family's. Details online at nelson-house.com. Well, we got a fun podcast in store for you, but before we get to the meat and potatoes, let's take a little break and we'll be right back after this. Well, guys, there's been a lot of controversy on Tigers trading away Skubal, trading away Mize, but they're still in contention for a playoff spot. Some thoughts?
Yeah, I saw a little clip on social media today that I thought would be a good way to tee up a conversation. So we'll give that a play right now, and then we'll kind of talk about it and see what we think.
I don't love them. They traded away Skubal and Mize. I don't know. I just don't think they're making it, even though their record keeps getting better. It would be bad for baseball if they make the playoffs. I'm sorry. Not a knock on Scott Harris, not a knock on AJ Hinch. It'd be pretty remarkable if they did it, but they just traded away two of their best players, and if they still get in the playoffs, that just shows you how bad the American League is.
Do you think it also gives a bad precedent? And not that they're going to try to win or try to lose, but hey, everybody can just get rid of expensive pieces and look, everybody make it. Is that what you mean by it's bad for baseball?
Yeah. Why we don't want a team that's that sold two of their best players and still sneaking in. I think that's bad for baseball. I think that's bad precedent to set. I think you want teams to try to be rewarded for trying.
It's bad for competitiveness. That's all players ask. That's all fans ask is competitiveness from your city.
Cool. So I thought that would stir up some decent conversation between the three of us. It definitely did on social media. So that clip is from Foul Territory TV. And the main voice that kind of struck a chord was, the bearded fella there, AJ Pierzynski, 19-year MLB vet, obviously a lot of his career with the White Sox. I don't know if he has a little disdain still towards the Tigers or not, but an interesting topic because, we've been back and forth on if we think the Tigers should have traded Skubal or not, or even Casey Mize or not. And it's been well documented that basically since June, they're one of the best teams in baseball. Even since the Skubal trade, the Dodgers have basically plummeted and the Tigers have remained one of the best teams in baseball, record-wise, run differential. They're one of the best teams in the AL. They're only a couple games out of first place in the Central. As we're recording, they're up 6-3 on the Guardians right now. They're about to play 3 versus the Guardians, 3 versus the White Sox. So by this weekend, they could be in first place in the Central. So, the point that he's making is they were sellers at the deadline from what it looks like. Trade Skubal, back-to-back Cy Young winner, trade Mize, former number one pick. It looks like they're selling. So is that a good thing to be sellers and then still win? You know, Jared and I think we were all kind of saying, is it a good thing what the Dodgers are doing, just overpaying, deferring money, you know, building this super roster? Is that a good thing for baseball? You know, I don't know. Is what the Tigers were doing a good thing? I don't know. They're still out there winning. McGonagall's still out there playing like a potential MVP. Dylan Dingler, they're talking about him getting MVP talks. So the guys are still out there trying to win. I just thought it was an interesting take from, like I said, a 19-year MLB vet. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah, I was curious what you guys think. I don't necessarily agree with him, but it's definitely an interesting thought.
Yeah, to me, it's like I agree with what he's saying for bad for baseball, but maybe not the reason people are thinking. To me, this is just why baseball, to me, is a great sport, but also kind of just like an idiotic sport. There is no predicting if you're going to win or not. It's like, take a look at Cal Raleigh, for example. I mean, went from the best hitter in baseball to the worst hitter in a year. It's such a unique sport. I still don't really understand how that's possible.
Well, you said, Jared, I think you said there's so much vibes, right? That trading school, it might be all about the vibes.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, and and now we're seeing the Tigers have won 8 of 10 now. I'm not sure what that number is since Scuba left, but 4-1 maybe since the deadline. Help me out with the number since the deadline, real quick.
I think that's what it is.
Okay, because sometimes I just say things on this podcast and then I listen back to them, and you realize you can fact check it right away, and you just immediately, it's like whatever you said after that is kind of just idiotic. But what I will say is we're seeing it play out with this team. Is the vibes are up. You know, Jackson Jobe is back. It's a good team, and it's kind of sad that the whole Scooble thing and maybe how Scooble handled it, or just for lack of a better term, just the situation he was in and not really a way around it to get to free agency without it getting kind of ugly at the end. But it's been lingering over this franchise for what's felt like a year now. This decision and what the Tigers are going to do, and the fact that they finally just got it off their back. They're playing good baseball, and right at the perfect time is a series against the Guardians. It seems like we always play the Guardians at a sliding doors moment in the season. I didn't realize until tonight, which did we end up getting the win? I think it's official.
9th inning right now, trying to close it out.
They should be good. So the Guardians were 6-0 heading into the night against the Tigers. So if anything was going to tell you that we're turning the page a little bit on the whole Scooble ordeal and moving forward to the future, to me, it's this series. If they win this series, or better yet, if they sweep this series, I mean, the playoffs are definitely within grasp. But again, what does that earn us? I don't think any of us think it's a World Series team. We've done the playoff thing now the last couple of years. Pierzynski said something at the very end of that take, basically how, you know, all teams care about is making the playoffs nowadays. It's not about winning the World Series. That doesn't matter. It's about making the playoffs. And that it does kind of feel like it is true, but also, again, the Tigers sold and they're better, or maybe arguably better today than they were a week ago. So why would you do the Dodgers taking? That's why, to me, the whole lockout and people getting mad about the Dodgers is crazy to me. To me, it's taking a crazy chance, spending $1 billion, and it just so happens that it's paying off. It's not a guarantee that they're going to win the World Series this year. Yeah, they're the favorites, but anything can happen in baseball. And to me, we're making a mountain out of a molehill with the whole Dodgers problem. And this is just baseball as a whole. It's just so random year to year.
Yeah, I mean, we know baseball is a marathon, right? I mean, it's a long ass season for sure, and the Tigers are right there in the race. But AJ, he's got to have something to talk about every once in a while. So he just threw it out there. He knew it was going to have some controversy. The take, you know, I mean, when you think about it, the Tigers, a lot of people were all up in arms about letting Scooble go. I mean, there was so many debates and so many different opinions. But I thought, really, with what they had to deal with, they had no choice but to trade him. And I think we talked about it also. Detroit's not a long-term stop for Hall of Fame type of players coming through every day, right? It's a place where maybe you can contend year in and year out, or 2 out of every 3 years, with a young core. And I really do. I said it last week. I like what they have as far as their young core. They're strong up the middle. They're young. They got some excitement. And like you said, Job's back now. The pitching staff with Melton, I mean, they're not missing much of a beat. And the big thing we also talked about, all three of us know baseball, the monkey's off their back. It's loosey-goosey right now. And if they get down to the crunch time in the last 20 games of the season, they're right in it. Why? I wouldn't want to play the Tigers.
Yeah, because they have a bunch of players who don't care. Or, you know, they care, but, you know, they're not They're young. They're young and like too naive to know what they're really doing.
Yeah.
But what does this message even send to owners or general managers? It is kind of a good point by him where it's like, why would you ever pay these guys? Why would we ever accept the salary floor? Why, the second point, why is the salary cap even a big deal? Let the Dodgers spend whatever the hell they want. Let the Mets spend $1 billion. They got as good a chance as we do to win it. So I don't know. To me, it is kind of an interesting thought that they are actively not trying, and yet it doesn't matter. They're still winning.
It's almost like the two different ways to go about it. You go about it the Dodgers way or the Rays, the Brewers, and what it seems like the Tigers might be doing. And, you pay one or two guys like the Tigers did pay McGonigal. They gave him that big contract. And I'm sure Melton, like you said, Job, maybe Max Clark at some point will get that big contract. But right now they kind of said we're not in a place to pay Casey Mize. And we're not in a place to give Tarek Skubal $700 million or whatever he's going to get. So we're going to sell. It doesn't mean, though, to me, I don't think he was literally saying they're trying not to win. Because, of course, there's a lot of pride, especially with AJ Hinch. And, it is a professional ball club. These are professional athletes. They're trying to win. But I get the message that it sends to fans. But what do fans care about? We know the play on the field.
Right.
I don't care if you trade everyone away. If you start winning on the field, I will start watching every single night. If you kept Skubal and you kept losing, I wouldn't be watching. So it's all about the play on the field. That's what matters. What did you guys make of Skubal saying that he hopes Detroit is in the free agency talks this offseason?
He's the most toxic ex of all time, man. He's just that girlfriend. This the couple that's getting back together. Why does he even say that?
Exactly.
It's just dumb. It is just one of those things where it's like we can't get away. It just is. We all love Skubal. I was watching some Skubal highlights earlier today. We're on Twitter of him for the Tigers. He was awesome, man. No denying that, but at some point, the game is over with I want to come back. I don't think it would be a smart signing. $700 million, like you just said, Matt. I don't, for a guy who, when the game's on the line, when the season's on the line last year, pitched, was it 6 innings or 7 innings against the Mariners? And then kind of called it. It just is. It's baseball. This is not LeBron James you're signing where it's 100% worth it and the seats are filled to capacity. It's just a pitcher that pitches once a week and wins, 60% of those games that he pitches. It's not worth it. And the fact that he said that, he meant it, I think, in a good way, but it just was kind of ridiculous. I hope they're in on the sweepstakes. If I was a Dodgers fan, I'd be like, what the hell? If I'm a Tigers fan, I'm like, no Tigers fan is like, oh, we're going to do this. It just is annoying. So
yeah, either he got caught by surprise or maybe there's a little tinge of, maybe the grass is always greener, right? I mean, he was the stud in Detroit. Now he's one of many studs out in LA.
Right.
Little different mindset out there than in Detroit. I don't think that's the reason. I think he just got maybe caught off guard a little bit and just said something that's dumb. But I'll go on record, and it might come back to bite me. But no way do you try to get back Skubal after this point. No. Wipe your hands clean and get the hell out.
No, and to me, it's kind of like what you said, Jared. We all love him. 2 Cy Youngs. He helped in this turnaround. He was a big part of the turnaround for the Tigers. So yeah, I will forever love those games that he pitched. But going back to what we all have kind of said, Job, Melton, even, you signed Valdez. He'll be around for a couple more years if unless they trade him or something. You got Max Clark, Dingler. Riley Green is still only 25. McGonigal. You've got a core to build around. Use that money and sign some other guys. Bulk up that bullpen a little bit. I saw Jansen did just eke out a close against the Guardians, so they got that win. But yeah, if you're really going to have to spend $600-700 million on Skubal, use that elsewhere. Sign some other pieces.
Yeah, well, we've even talked about it. Get these young kids under contracts like they did McGonigal. Keep them around for 7-8 years.
And Colt Keith.
And hey, I'm not going to start dogging on Colt Keith.
But you can't. Well, you can't celebrate the McGonigal signings and then just look over the Colt Keith signing, which was the same sort of thought process.
Well, I mean, his career's not over yet, Jared. I mean, how old is he? He still could be a.
I know. Yeah, I mean, yes, he could. I was just
Is he
saying.
going to be a
I was just saying,
superstar?
you got to
Maybe
throw it in
not,
there
maybe
as
not.
well.
Yeah. Well,
And that's what.
you gave me a dig a couple weeks ago about him, and I can't remember what I said about him. Did I say he was going to be a superstar or something? I don't remember
I don't
saying
know.
that.
I didn't know that you were the Colt Keith kind of defender. I just was throwing it in there because you were talking about that. I saw the wishful thinking of Detroit sports fans. Maybe to segue in a little bit, I saw people said that this Pistons opening night or opening afternoon, if you would call it, is a 3 p.m. game.
Celtics, right?
And people were saying that it would be Game 7 of the ALCS would be later that night, potentially in Detroit, if it got to that point. So what did you guys, Ted? This feels like something that you would be upset with. Maybe not in your retired life, but 3 p.m. opening day game for the Pistons versus Celtics. What did you think of that on a Friday?
Makes no difference to me. You're right. I don't care. I can tune into both. I won't probably be at the game, but I'll watch it.
I was gonna say, I'm what is the phrase? A big nothing burger.
Yeah.
I'm sure to Ted, the big nothing burger. I did think it was interesting because the Pistons are still, I think, like 4th best odds in the East to win the
Right.
East. You know, obviously
Yeah.
Sixers, Knicks. I'm forgetting who the third team would be right now, but probably the Celtics.
Celtics, yeah. I mean,
so it's a good game, Pistons Celtics.
But we're
putting
talking about, it's a regular season game, right? It's just the opener.
number one. First regular season, one of 82. The one that I thought was interesting, I will say, I don't get too fired up about the NBA schedule release like some people do. The Pistons aren't on Christmas Day, and that's the one I was like, man, I feel like the Pistons with Cade Cunningham have proved enough over the last couple of years that they deserve a Christmas Day game. That was the one that I was a little surprised they didn't get that noon Christmas Day game, that no one really watches because it's noon on Christmas Day. So the Pistons aren't on Christmas Day. So I was a little surprised at that, but
well,
the
especially
opening
now
day against the Celtics, whatever.
Yeah. I was going to say, now that the NFL has invaded Christmas, I'm not too concerned about the NBA either. But if Pistons played and they went up against a Lions game, who would you watch?
Well, did you see this? This stat was insane. Listen to the stat I saw on Twitter. We all know how big football is, especially the NFL, but this kind of blew my mind. The first NFL preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, had 7 million viewers. That was more than any NHL game last season, including the Stanley Cup Finals, and more than any MLB game this season.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy to think about? I don't know. Maybe that was a fake tweet. I could have sworn that was real, but that's real.
It is crazy.
It's mind-blowing.
Thursday night NFL preseason, the first game, no one really plays. No starters. Hall of Fame game blew other major sports out of the water as far as viewers. I mean, it is kind of crazy.
Even me,
the viewership that NFL gets.
I enjoy some preseason games when the Lions are involved, but I tuned into that Hall of Fame game just for a quarter, just to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit. Then I was on to something else, but that is mind blowing.
But for the Pistons, man, and you're right, Matt. I was that was the first thing I checked was when I saw the tweet of the NBA Christmas Day games. Like, are the Pistons playing? And it kind of was a wake up call, and it's sad to realize that we're kind of just, for as good as the Pistons are and how improved they are, they're just kind of boring. There's just not that star. Like Cade Cunningham is very good, but I don't think he's a super polarizing, like you have to tune in to watch him player. And that's kind of the bummer of it, is where there's 10 teams playing on Christmas Day and the Pistons aren't one of the 10 most interesting teams in the NBA, despite how good of a season they had last year, regular season mostly. But just kind of a shocking and kind of a sobering thought to think that they're still not quite there. The Friday day game, I don't know. I don't even know if people are really complaining about it. To me, it's a Friday at 3. To me, that's a perfect. Who at a normal desk job is working from 3 to 5 on their Friday before they're hitting the weekend. To me, it's like you just started your weekend 2 hours early at your desk to watch that game. So I have no problem with it. Do you guys think that the Jalen Duren thing, which still is unresolved, is going to linger into the season and kind of almost like we talked about the Scooble thing, not quite to that level, but almost hang over this team in this season, just this whole ordeal where he basically wants a sign and trade, and the Pistons aren't going to do it, from what I saw. So I just, what do you guys think of that?
I mean, I think you kind of said it. I think it will or could be like the Scooble thing. I mean, you know how reporters are in the media. I'm sure he's going to get asked about it almost every night.
Sure.
How are the contract talks coming? How have the contract talks come along? Cade will probably get questions about it. It's going to be a distraction. Now, if he goes, like I kind of said about the Tigers earlier, if he goes out there and balls out, makes another all-star team, and the Tigers are a top 2 or 3 seed in the East, no big deal. But if they're down around the play-in endurance numbers are suffering and he's looking like he's checked out from time to time, then yeah, that's going to become a major talking point. So,
well, let me ask you guys this. I don't have it at my fingertips. What is a max deal in NBA basketball? What would he be looking at? Is it a 4-year deal, 5-year deal with multi-millions, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll pull the exact number up, but it's like, wouldn't it be like right around 250 million? I think.
Is
Let
it?
me
So
look it up.
players are
Go ahead.
eligible for different max deals,
Right.
depending on what their time in the league, what their first contract was. So that's why when you see like so-and-so is eligible for a max, super max, it depends on what their previous deals were.
5 years, 287 million would be his max.
All right.
For a dude that was a no-show in the playoffs.
Would you pay him 5 years for 200?
No.
I mean, today's NBA, that's what these dudes are getting.
I know.
But
to get the nonsense out of the way, he's still young. He's still a solid player. He's a starting NBA player.
He's definitely a starting center in the league.
Yeah.
To get the distraction out of the way, sure, that might be a big one. I'd want to see it one more year. I'd want to, okay, cool. You had a decent regular season last year. Let's see it one more year. And then we'll give you that 5-year, 287 million. But right now, it's like,
you do got to feel for this guy, man. I mean, going into the playoffs, he makes the third-team NBA, which makes him eligible for this extension.
Right.
And he's had an all-time year, and then he just has the worst playoffs of all time.
Yeah,
Pistons offered him. I was trying to remember what the Pistons offered him. 1 year, $9.6 million qualifying offer. So think about what he was thinking: 5 years, $287 million to 1 year, $9.6 million. Still $9.6 million, but I mean, dude, it is. You do kind of. It is almost like if he just accepts that, it is almost like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of understand the frustration, but he only has himself to blame. I mean, it's a sticky situation, and I actually can respect Trajan Langdon for kind of holding his ground on this, and I think it's smart.
Well, that again goes to the point of conversations, and I don't know who his agent is. I mean, and the GM, as you just talked about, are they having conversations? Do they even want him? That's the thing.
Right.
He doesn't feel wanted if he's getting lowballed like that.
I mean, that's why they just don't want to lose the asset. It's an asset. I think if you can't just let him walk. Right. I don't know why they're not willing to do a sign and trade. Maybe just because, again, I mean, how does this work? So the qualifying offer, teams can match that, correct? Or no, they can't.
The qualifying offer keeps them out of that max contract for like another year.
1 year. It's just
right. It basically is like, hey, here's a 1 year, $10 million. Prove it again. It's like a promise ring. It's like,
so you pretty much
prove it, and then we'll pay you the big money.
You only do that to piss him off, like really. I mean, because then it's like, I doubt if he plays well this year, that he's gonna be like, yep, you know what, I am re-signing. Like, you know what, I am gonna re-sign with you guys. It is almost just like, all right, we got him for 1 more year, almost a rental. It is what it is. It sucks, but
honestly, it could be Langdon could be having an honest conversation with him. Listen, you made the All-Star team, you made third-team NBA. But listen, you can't make a jump shot outside of the paint. Today's NBA, as a center, you have to be able to shoot the ball.
Yes.
Like, we respect your game. We want to keep you. But we can't pay you $300 million if you can't stretch the floor and play like Embiid, Jokic, Wemby, some of these other dudes. We just can't pay you that. Expand your game and prove it this year. We'll give you all the money you want. So, I mean, hopefully not, because – it seemed like the Pistons were on the incline. So,
well, it's a fair conversation to have for sure, but who knows what goes on behind closed doors. Going back full circle, back to baseball real quick before we move to another break. If I'm the Tigers, I don't sign anybody that Boros represents. That's end of the story right there.
Sadly, he represents a lot of players.
I know he does.
Let's take a look at this guy who he does represent, man. It's so many. I mean, I can respect Scott Boras. He is a good agent, but to me, it just is a situation of what baseball is. If the Tigers couldn't afford Skubal to, how do you get mad at Boras or Skubal for not going to free agency? That's what I mean. I just think it was a bad situation for all. I get what you're saying, but it was a $700 million contract that we know that it would have been idiotic for the Tigers to sign. So it just was an impossible situation. But let me see his
Scott,
signing list.
quick Google. Scott Boras, his corporation represents roughly 175 MLB players. So he's not necessarily going the Jerry Maguire route,
No.
I guess. But
Does he represent any NBA players?
I mean, I think he's all over the place.
No, but
Just think how much money he makes, whatever the percentage they get, is it 10%? I don't know what agents make nowadays.
Actually, zero NBA players. So, I mean, mainly
okay.
MLB, but he obviously he's doing well for himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He'll be part of an ownership team in 10 years.
I would think so too.
And he'll be buying a team. Pretty impressive, man. That's actually somebody I should do a little bit of research on what his story, or that's somebody that needs to be on a podcast, man. And let's listen to this guy. What's his story? It is pretty amazing. Listen to this: Juan Soto, Garrett Cole, Bryce Harper, Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, Cody Bellinger, Corbin Burns, Jose Altuve, Dylan Cease, Gunnar Henderson, Jeremy Pena. He's got a lot of the Astros actually.
Wow.
And that's just, and like you said, Matt, 170. So that's just the top 10 that come across on a Google search. So
he could certainly buy a professional team with the kind of cash he has, no question about it. Well, let's take a little short break and come back, talk a little college football right after this.
So yeah, as we talked about earlier, college football, well, the Hall of Fame game, NFL preseason's underway, so that means college football is right around the corner too. Training camp underway. We're getting to see all those fun training camp videos. Who's playing hot at the training camp? Who's going to be the star player? All those videos that we love to see. And one of our favorite local Detroit radio personalities, Mike Valenti on 97.1 The Ticket, he had a take about the upcoming season that, again, similar to the AJ Przinsky, that I thought was interesting and could, spark a little conversation for us. So yeah, here that is.
Are we just at a point where college football is completely irrelevant locally? I'm being very serious when I say this. We used to be so amped up for Saturdays, college game day. What's the noon kick? What's the ABC 3:30? CBS SEC. What's the night game? And it was going to be the best game of the day. They've even altered our viewing patterns. The best game of the day is sometimes on at noon now. Nobody's trying to do that. As we're a couple weeks out, like if you're a Michigan State fan, are any of you excited about this season? Are you aware there's a team? Michigan is complicated. It's complicated because the Harbaugh thing took a lot out of people. Then the cheating scandal right when it seemed like you were at the mountaintop, and it marred the actual accomplishment. And then you won it, but nobody respects you for winning it. And then you had Sharon and his penis adventures, and nobody liked him. And now you get rid of Sharon under scandal. You get rid of your AD under scandal, and you hire a good college. I think Whittingham is a very good college football coach, but he don't fit here. It feels like he's a very good gauze pad and bandage for a couple years. Are you excited?
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. So the first thing, I think that is, I feel like a completely separate conversation. The TV aspect of it, and I understand who my employer is, very big part in the college football TV schedule. I think that's a valid conversation and how it's changed how much we care about sports altogether. We see and hear and talk about sports 24/7, 365. We never get a break. Mm-hmm. So there is validity to, there used to be, you had a legit break from whatever, February until August. So when August, September came, you were pretty hyped up for college football or NFL. Now it's around the clock. So you never really get a break from the football conversation, the stuff in your face all the time. So I think that's a big part of it. The other side of it is he's a known Michigan State fan. There is a side, what do people say on social media now all the time, Jared, that the what people just say if you're being a hater, cope. It does sound it does sound like he's just being a Michigan State salty. Their program's a little bit in the dumps right now, so let's keep hating on Michigan a little bit. But I do think there's something to the lack of excitement going into this season just because of all the stuff that Michigan is coming off of. Whittingham is a great hire. Like he said, a very good proven college coach. Was it like a splash exciting hire? Not necessarily. I think it will, time will tell. The one thing I think the way he said it, a good gauze pad, I think that's a good way to say it. None of us think he's going to be here 5, 6, 7, 8 years. probably be here a good 3-4 years, and then hopefully he turns the program around and we go from there. So I'm a diehard. I mean, look behind me, 2 Michigan football helmets. I'm excited for the season. I will always be excited for Michigan football, but it's a fair conversation.
Yeah, agreed. Super excited for the season. I mean, just we talked about the preseason game and the amount of viewers. I mean, guess what? I'm going to watch every single Michigan game, and my excitement, although I would say it probably is the least excited I've been for a Michigan season in a while. Even like last year, you looked at it, you had Bryce Underwood as a freshman, the unknown. We're like, man, this guy really might. I mean, I was somewhat buying some Heisman buzz, like maybe he might have that type of year. And with Whittingham, it's right. He's a God's pet. It's the least amount of juice I've had for a Michigan season, but I think that was kind of almost the point of Whittingham was we need to kind of quiet the noise around this program with the whole cheating thing. You know, let's go on this tangent every time it comes up because it needs to be said every time the Michigan cheating scandal comes up. And I love Mike Valenti. This has almost broken his Michigan State football brain. Like the fact they won a national title, we saw it. I mean, if Michigan State won a national title in football or basketball, it would probably break my brain. And I would be the same way where I just would never be able to accept it. So I understand it, but nobody outside of Michigan State, maybe Ohio State, actually cares about the Michigan cheated scandal. We said it a zillion times. The scandal broke mid-season. We won every important game after that. If that did not happen, and if the NCAA would have been smart about it and just pulled an Astros maneuver where after the season just point out the cheating scandal, we wouldn't have been able to defend it. But we saw it with our own 2 eyes. What happened before the scandal? What happened after the scandal? The team looked no different. They were just as good. They were going to win the national championship no matter what that year. The sad part with college football, and I think it's just with the overall 12-team expansion, I wasn't in favor of expanding to 12 because to me, every game was a playoff game. I remember what Michigan versus Notre Dame was week 1, 2018, which I was there for. That was a playoff game week 1. There was something that was just awesome about that. Think about Texas, Ohio State last year, playoff game week 1. And obviously there is something special and we truly are crowning the true champion. It feels like every year now with the 12-team playoff. But to me, college football is not the same as it was in 2012. That doesn't mean it's not awesome and it's not my favorite thing in the world because it still is. But the college football of 2012 that wasn't driven by NIL and all that is. I lost my train of thought just because I'm getting excited for football. But basically, what I'm saying is, football is not the same that it was 15 years ago, but it's still awesome. And Valenti saying that nobody is excited about Michigan football is just out of bounds. It's not correct. Yes, it's maybe less than in years past, but that's just the Whittingham, and that's just because the team's not as good as it's been in a long time. So
yeah, and you both have good points too. Because let's face it, Valenti is as good as it gets. I mean, he is a major market radio guy that knows how to stir things up. Yes, he is definitely a Spartan and a Michigan hater, but that gets the phone calls coming. That gets his post on social media a lot of views. It's fair points though. But I will say this season, I'm always excited for Michigan football and Big Ten football, college football, but I probably am a little bit downer a little bit, you know what I mean, compared to the Harbaugh years and seeing what Sharon Moore was gonna do, and then living through all that damn controversy.
Right.
Different, but so it's a little calmer, and I think it's good that they got the coach in there to maybe calm things down a little bit. You got to get it done in the field. The other thing though with Michigan, and again, it'll take me a game or two to know all the players. Matt, you'll be ahead of me on that, but the key is going to be Underwood. Did he dazzle us last year? He showed some talent, but he also showed some real weaknesses in the throwing game. Now he didn't have a quarterback coach. That's a big crutch. Okay, now he has one. Let's see what happens.
No excuses now.
Genuine question: could with this 2022 like 5-year rule where guys are going to the pros and then coming back, could JJ McCarthy come back and start for Michigan football? I'm saying that jokingly, but that seriously maybe something worth looking into for Whittingham.
Might be.
We pay him a shit ton of NIL, man. Probably could match his NFL salary. So just a thought, but
wow.
It is just. What did you guys think about? Let me put it this way: parity has never been better in college football. Where you never know who's going to win it. Like genuinely, nobody had Indiana winning the title last year. Not a soul. A predictor of anybody had them anywhere near the national title, and they won it all. But don't you guys almost think that that sounds good on paper? Like when I think about 10, 12 years ago and the SEC was king, man, and it was like nobody's dethroning Alabama. I remember wishing like, man, I wish it was kind of like that parity type thing. But we're kind of seeing it with the NBA a little bit, where I don't know if parity is the best thing. You know what is kind of awesome? The Alabamas, the LeBron James, one-man army type teams, where you can say you're watching them being in the finals, and you love watching, and you get to know the players. Like, I could name those Cleveland Cavaliers teams from 2016, 2017, like all 12 players, I think, on those teams. I couldn't do that with a Pistons team. I couldn't do that with last year's Pistons team. So I guess what I'm saying is, although the parity has never been better, I really don't think, in a weird way, that's the best thing for the sport. I kind of miss the olden days where it was maybe a four-team race to win the title, or maybe even a 2-team race. I don't know. Is that weird?
No, because I always think of it like this. March Madness, we always talk about the Cinderella stories. We love the upsets. We love all those underdog stories that come out of March Madness, because March Madness is one of the greatest sporting events out there. But we want a Final Four of us. We want Michigan. We want Michigan State. We want North Carolina. We want Duke. We want the Blue Bloods in the Final Four. We don't want to see like all these no-namers, like when Michigan played Loyola Chicago in the Final Four, a few years ago to go to it had the Sister Jean story. Like, it was cool. But like, then when Michigan smashed them, no one cared about it. If that was against UNC or something, it would have been one of the biggest games. So I think, yes, parity is fun. It does add some storylines. Indiana winning a national title last year was cool. But overall, I think people want to see the Alabama-Michigan Rose Bowl from when Michigan won the national title. That was one of the best games that we've watched in recent history, because it was Harbaugh versus Saban. It was the Rose Bowl. It was Michigan versus Alabama. That's what you want to see. I think kind of you said it a little earlier, a whole other side of this conversation that Valenti was talking about is NIL and the transfer portal. And like you said, Ted, with college basketball too, with college football, it takes a game or two to even learn your favorite team's roster. I mean, unless you really are plugged in and you follow everything super closely, it takes a couple games to really get to know your team. I mean, think about it. Justice Haynes, remember the running back at Michigan last year who was on his way to winning a Heisman Trophy, possibly, and then he got hurt like week 8 or 9, whatever it was. And now he transferred to Georgia Tech. Like, you get into a season with a running back that you're like, oh, this kid's a stud. This is going to be awesome. He gets hurt, loses his starting job, transfers out to another school. I mean, that I think that takes away from some of the excitement too. There's a lot of layers to it.
How could, if you're a Michigan State fan, for example, and not to harp on Michigan State, but what is making you excited? I don't think you can win a title. Like, let's say you hit on your quarterback has an amazing year, and maybe he wins Big Ten Player of the Year or something. He's transferring out. So, like, how do you even get excited about the future or the present? Like, when knowing that no matter what, if you're not one of these top 10, 15, maybe even 20 like big boys that can pay, it just doesn't matter. It's almost like the Tigers. You're just a feeder system for the Dodgers. So that to me it almost makes sense if he made that argument about Michigan State, where it's like, if as a Michigan State fan, and maybe that's why he feels this way, that he's not excited about college football or as excited, because I don't see a Magic of a D'Antonio type program being built. Obviously you have what Signetti did, but that's heavily built on NIL, and they were almost a wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, you got Mark Cuban donating. Like, it is Indiana, and they haven't been good at football, but guess what? Same thing with like a Vanderbilt. Next thing you know, once money becomes a thing, these smart, rich schools like Indiana, like a Vanderbilt, now they're one of the big boys now that can pay. So I don't know. It just, that to me is the depressing part, is schools like that might get left behind.
Well, the thing is that I look at it is I actually like the parity. I mean, you're talking about parity being developed because of the money that's involved, and that's the nature of the game of football now, college-wise. But at the 12-team playoffs, let's say you have 30 legitimate teams that could compete. Because I mean, Ole Miss last year, they're SEC, of course, but they haven't been a dominant power. They just put together a tremendous season under a great head coach, and there's teams like that. Then you got the teams like Tulane or James Madison. Maybe they don't belong there, but I like the parity. I like if you get a 12-team tournament and they're all pretty equal, bring it on, man. That's college football for me right there. I'm watching with my popcorn and my soda.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the playoff was awesome. The playoff, once you get to the playoff, it is awesome. But I mean, just this Michigan-Oklahoma game, man, think of how much we'd be looking forward to that. And we are still looking forward to that. It's gonna be an awesome game. But I kind of miss the stakes that it used to have.
So is it becoming like the NBA regular season, college football a little bit?
A little
same
bit.
way?
It's never going to quite be that way, but a little bit. Well, think about Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, think about all those awesome games with Harbaugh and Ryan Day down the stretch where we were beating them. Where imagine if those games were just both teams would have both already been in the playoff. It kind of wouldn't have really mattered.
Yep.
And whereas it was basically a playoff game. So that part is kind of, it's never going to be quite like the NBA, but it's become a little bit like that.
Yeah.
If the playoff expands even more, that will become more evident. I mean, it kind of already was a couple years ago when the crappy 7-5 Michigan team beat Ohio State, and then Ohio State went on to win the national title. While as Michigan fans, it was awesome to see Michigan win that game. Ultimately, it didn't really matter because Ohio State didn't even play in the Big Ten championship. So they didn't even have to win the conference championship, made the playoff, won the national title. So did Michigan winning the game really matter that year? I mean, to us, it did. It was cool, but ultimately it didn't matter. So if you expand the playoff even more, sure, there might be some more parity, but then we're going to have like 8-4 Iowa making the playoff. And it's like, well, that's no fun.
Michigan would be in every year.
Right. Like they would have made it last year.
Yeah.
And that team was no good. So,
well, realistically, okay, they're at 12. What would be the max they could really do where it wouldn't be completely watered down? Would
I
be
think
16?
I think keep it at 12.
I'm solid with 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16 maybe if you have to, but if you go much past that, I mean, really think about it. Yeah, it'd be fun, more college football, great. But you're getting teams in there that aren't really that deserving. It's not like college basketball where there's a lot of really good teams.
Yep.
Once you get past 12 to 15 in college football, there's a major drop off.
I do like the fact that with the 12 teams, they have the first round at the college campus. I like that. That was smart, man. That was a good move right there. All right. Anything else in college football before we move on? All right, let's
just
take
the big thing. We don't have to get deep into it, but you see Kyle Whittingham's being asked about his comments about Ohio State, even Bryce Underwood's being asked about Ohio. I mean, it's definitely, we need to just get some games being played. We need to have some stuff to actually talk about.
Yeah, we can put that behind us, I think. But I was surprised to see that brought up again, and he had to answer that. Just go blue. That's all I'll say right there. Let's take one final break here, and let's have a little potpourri to wrap up the pod. All right, we were talking about, Jared, you kind of said it jokingly, but it did get me scratching my head on J.J. McCarthy because, he's might be a free agent looking for somewhere to play as Kyler Murray beat him out.
How long is it until you're saying we need to bring this guy in as our backup? Did you fall to your knees when Teddy Bridgewater retired? Did you fall, or when he stepped away?
I will say this: the thought did cross my mind. I will say that there's no question about it. And I'm not gonna get away from the fact that you got to have a decent backup quarterback. Who do we have as the backup now? Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. I mean,
the Pastronaut.
Yeah, the Pastronaut, which is just a great nickname.
That is a great nickname. I think Josh Dobbs is the definition of a good backup. And he's a solid backup. He wouldn't want to be your answer as a starting quarterback. The McCarthy thing is so crazy. Obviously, as Michigan fans, we, think highly of him for his time at Michigan. It's just, it more goes into what these NFL teams put into their starting quarterback. So he got hurt, didn't play at all his rookie year, 10 starts last season, and it didn't go great. There were some ups, there were some downs.
Won 6 games.
Won 6 games, 6-4 as a starter.
He beat the Lions, didn't he?
Beat the Lions.
Yep.
He also had some really bad games too. So it wasn't pretty, but 10 starts in his NFL career, and they've all but moved on from him. Now, if Kyler really plays terrible in the first 5 or 6 weeks, or obviously if he gets hurt, then
we'll see.
JJ's going to get another shot. But this is all but saying, sorry, JJ, we've moved on, which is just crazy because now we've seen Sam Darnold being one, Daniel Jones being one, Baker Mayfield. We see all of these quarterbacks that maybe it takes 4 or 5 seasons to really get going. And most of us, if we were being realistic, we kind of said that about JJ, like his rookie year, would he step in and be the guy from day one? Maybe not, because he was young. He's still only 23. So it's kind of like, he might need a year to sit, kind of like an Aaron Rodgers type of thing. Sit for a year or 2, 3 years, and then he'll be ready to go. But just seems crazy. I wouldn't give up on him. I'll be curious to see what he does.
Yeah, I felt like the leash was a little bit short, but that just makes you wonder, maybe which if you're a Lions fan, it makes you nervous. Like, man, maybe Kyler's really lighting it up, or maybe he just is that bad in practice. I don't know. To me, I thought they were going to go with JJ and give him a super short leash. Like, hey, if you're bad, like week 1, we'll pull you like by week 2. But I think we're going to see JJ starting for the Vikings later on this year, whether it's injury or whether Kyler's not playing well. I think we're going to see JJ again this season. So, and even if we don't, I think we're going to see him start again somewhere. One team's got to take a flyer on him. Why would you not? And just, what's the worst case? You start him for a couple games, then you bench him again. Like, why would you not? So,
Right.
I don't know. It was wild going from that first half of the Bears where he looked horrible, and then he really turned it around and led them to that comeback victory. And we were all like, man, this is just what he did at Michigan. But I don't know. It makes me worried as a Michigan fan or as a Lions fan, to be honest, because we all thought it when they signed Kyler Murray, and I think a lot of NFL fans did around the league. Just like, I don't know, this seems like a good fit for Kyler Murray, a guy who's had some flashes and has led the Cardinals to the playoffs before, and is leaving a horrible situation in Arizona to come to maybe one of the best offensive situations that a quarterback can be in. So I don't know. I'm excited to see how that situation plays out. And I was thinking about this watching Hard Knocks with the Seahawks. Is I think the number one team that I wish we could have got a Hard Knocks of would have been this quarterback battle in Minnesota. That would have been. And also, I kind of can't believe they decided this early. Like, I'm surprised they didn't give it a preseason game or like. Again, it just makes you wish you had some cameras in there to see what are they seeing. That is it Kyler so good and JJ so bad? Maybe both. I don't know.
Is it attitude? Who knows what goes on? You're right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think he'll get another chance for sure. I mean, look what happened to Baker Mayfield and some of these other quarterbacks, like you mentioned, Darnold. You know, if you got the talent, you're going to get an opportunity somewhere down the line. Maybe it isn't destiny for him to be in the Vikings. Get him out of that division, not playing the Lions twice a year. I'd be happy with that. I can root for him a little bit more. But Murray worries me a little bit. The guy, you know, with the Vikings, he can run the ball. You know, he's dangerous.
If he's healthy, he's just always had issues with health, and I don't know. I mean, that's an exciting situation. I'm excited to see what that looks like week 1. I wouldn't be surprised if it flames up. If it goes up in flames, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up for 3 TDs and 280 yards week 1. Like, I could see both sides.
I love all the memes that are coming out. I don't want to take a shot at a guy because of his height. He's a professional athlete. He's making millions and millions and millions of dollars as a quarterback in the NFL. I have nothing to say, but all the memes are like of him.
Oh yeah,
like way down
Lannister.
Like yeah. Like, it's pretty funny.
Tyler Lannister slapping Joffrey. What maybe you're going this way, Ted. Is it time to maybe start putting the panic button on season from hell for Lions already? I mean, injuries are stacking up already, man. I mean, well, what is going on in that damn camp?
Yeah, I don't know, man. These injuries just really are worrisome. I don't know if it's the same way in other camps. You know, when I did see the first report on Mays, you know, he had a broken bone in his wrist. I thought, okay, and I know you're the center, but you're getting paid a big salary. You can't play guard or something with a cast on. You know what I mean? But he's out like for 8 to 10 weeks. They're saying, again, I'm not a doctor, so I have no idea how this thing's going to heal. But you know, you think of an offensive lineman, tape it up, man, tape it up.
So I jokingly, but kind of seriously, texted some friends when this news came out. I was like, Frank Ragnow played with a broken neck for like 2 or 3 games. Like I know, unless it's, I didn't see, is it his right hand? Like, does he snap with his right hand? So
again, I'm not sure. That's why I said, well, God, if he's a center, it seems like he could play guard too.
I don't know. It seems like your wrist is something you would need to block. I mean, that's like
in today's day and age,
number one body you would need. But I don't know. These guys are tough, man. So they must, and I feel like the NFL is kind of like, hey, we're forcing you to play. Like, we're not going to force you to play, but we're basically forcing you to play if you can.
True.
So
that's true.
But there's also the side to it of like, if it really is 8 weeks, so by mid-October he's back and he's healthy, then that's not a bad thing either. Come back mid-season and you're, full go for the rest of the season. You just got to hope that they can kind of shuffle around the offensive line a little bit, because he was a big signing. I mean, he was supposed to come in, and speaking of Frank Ragnow, the center position was a little bit of a mess last year without Ragnow. Ragnow even acted like he was going to try and come back there. Remember, that was all kind of weird. So they signed Cade Mays to clean that up. Sewell over the left tackle. Offensive line was going to be ready to go to open up holes for Jahmyr Gibbs, who just got his bag. protect Ted's guy, Jared Goff,
That's
so
right.
he can actually throw the ball. And now the center is out for 10 weeks. So it is just like, geez. But it seems like every team has some sort of injury.
Yeah.
Every training camp. You just kind of wait for it and hope it's not something major. So hopefully this is the one big one that we have.
Hashtag since 57.
Kirby Joseph, who we just gave a big deal to, who I love Kirby Joseph. But I remember last year, he got hurt earlier in the year, and I think it was against the Browns. He played like on his injured knee. And I just remember thinking it was like week 4 or 5. I should have fact checked it, and I remember thinking like, why are we forcing him to play on this? Like, if anything, we should just be letting this guy get healthy. But apparently Dan Campbell said he's dealing with a personal matter, and he's on the same timeline as Brian Branch, who tore his Achilles like at the end of the year. So I don't know, man. It's just enough of the injuries. I can live with this team just not being adequate, but the injuries seem to be just the whole side plot of the Lions, and all teams deal with it. But man, it really feels like we've really got screwed by it.
Major ones. I mean,
Major.
Hutch obviously being one of the big ones. He, hopefully he's all good to go. But the Branch and Joseph thing. I mean, those are your 2 starting safeties. I mean,
all pro safety.
All
talent.
pro safeties. I mean, that's such a big deal. And I mean, I don't even know what they're going to do at this point.
Are we thinking they may be back mid-season, or what's the word?
I mean, that's what
I heard
Campbell's
of the
saying.
latest report was like early season, I thought, but I don't know. That just seems super
right.
early for Branch. But
yes, it would be.
What'd you see, Matt? Was it later than that?
I think I saw practice field early in the season, so maybe on the game. I don't know, but
well, we'll be watching Thursday night, right? First exhibition game against Cincinnati. We'll see what Josh Dobbs can do.
We'll see what he can do. That's for sure.
Other stories to maybe touch on a little bit. I don't know where we want to go with this. This WNBA, man, it is the biggest soap opera I have ever watched as a professional sport.
It's to the point. It's intentional, and
Yeah,
anybody
I think you're right.
in us talking about it, it is nobody can name who's the number 1 team in the league. Nobody can name the top scorer. I can name that Asia Wilson, but you can't name any of these players. But they're in the headlines every week. So to me, it's like I almost wonder with this latest thing with the DeJounte Carrington or DJ. I don't know what her name is. I almost wonder if WNBA sent a representative and said, tweet this out, thread this out, and let's get the people talking again.
Makes you wonder.
I mean, it's not happening, but I don't know, man. Again, we're talking about the WNBA right now.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of issues going on, and it does seem like sometimes it's to make headlines. I think it was Colin Cowherd. I watched a clip of him after the Carrington foul on Sophie Cunningham. It was after Sophie Cunningham's comments. I'm trying to remember exactly when it was. Anyway, it was after the Cunningham controversy, and then they asked Caitlin Clark about it. Because obviously Caitlin Clark's like the biggest star in the league right now. Not saying she's the best player in the league, but she's the biggest star in the league, right? And Colin Cowherd basically said, like, why do we put athletes on this pedestal to ask them political topics? Like he named off, he was like, we don't ask Bobby Flay about it. He listed off some other like professions. We don't ask these other people about their political affiliations or how they feel about this social issue or that social issue. But why athletes? Why do we have to ask Caitlin Clark about her thoughts on this issue? If she wants to address it, she'll bring it up and make a statement, whether on her social media or at a press conference. But why do we ask her about it? And then when she tries to just play down the middle, she gets hated on it. But if she would have went one way, she would have got hated on for what she said. So it's a lose-lose situation everywhere. But like you said, Jared, we're talking about the WNBA, and every night something is trending from the WNBA, good, bad, or indifferent. So
it's the annoying part is the grifters, man, on the far right, on the far left, who they don't even know what a basketball is, but whatever one of these players say, if it aligns with what they think, then they're blasting it. It's that's the part that's annoying is the people that are like that, where they'll tell athletes if they disagree with them, just shut up and dribble, but then if it's something they agree with, then it's like you put it with a microphone in front of their face, and it's just crazy. So I don't know, man. It's the WNBA. It's the in a way it's like it's entertaining. It's kind of sad, but it's entertaining. So it is what it is.
Yeah, well, it's in the news for sure. Also, a couple other quickies. Congratulations to Michigan's softball senior team that won the Little League World Series with an Owasso girl, their catcher, AZee Freeman, getting the start and playing for that team. So back-to-back national champions. That's pretty good at the senior league level, in softball. I think they won. I think I was watching it on ESPN, as a matter of fact.
Where's the team from?
Grand Blanc. They got players from Grand Blanc, Goodrich, some of the other area schools. So well done by them. One other story here. I was going to talk about it when we were talking college football, looking at Michigan State, but since we've got some close ties up at Ferris with their head coach and the Bauer boys, big story I saw this week in the news was Ryan Brady back on staff up there at Ferris, and then also suing Saginaw Valley State University. And it sounds like, there's some definite stuff there behind the scenes that were going on.
There's some smoke, man. I don't know. It's a bizarre situation. I don't know where this son is at nowadays. I think he's got a D1 job somewhere, correct? I thought I read that in the story.
Yeah.
It is bizarre. I think we talked about it when the news came that he got fired. It wasn't super duper surprising, but it was a little surprising given how well they played Ferris, and it felt like they were trending upward a little bit, had a stud quarterback. So I don't know. It's a little bit. This now makes a little bit more sense to, hey, maybe there was a little bit more going on behind the scenes for why that happened.
Yeah, the story was that one of the associate vice president of athletics was putting pressure on him to hire his son to be on the staff, and the story is that he didn't want to do it, and they dug in and fired him because of that. That's the allegations, and that's what the lawsuit's basically about. But when I first saw that he was at Ferris, I had to check my sources to make sure that he was, and he is definitely up there assisting the Bulldogs this season. So good luck to him. I always liked Ryan.
Yeah, unfortunate situation, but hey, for Ferris, they get a good quality coach back on their staff.
Absolutely.
And he's going to give an impassioned speech before that Saginaw Valley State game. Like,
oh yeah,
there's gonna be a little blood in the air.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You said they played Ferris tough, which they did. They actually Saginaw probably should have won that game. And did they
for sure should have won that game?
Did they beat Grand Valley last year too? Or did I get that wrong?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. That they should have probably had a better record than they did, man. What did they finish? 7-5 and
6-5.
Probably should have won. Yeah, they should have probably won 9 games or so, especially with that quarterback.
Right.
Again, the only game I watched them play was against Ferris, and it was like, man, you had to find a way to win that one.
Right.
Ferris had 5 turnovers in the first half.
That one slipped away for sure. Anyway, congratulations to Ryan getting a hire up there, working for Tony again. I'll see him probably week 1. I think I'm going up their first game up there when they play their first home game. So I was going to lead into that looking at Michigan State, I'm kind of excited for Ferris football. I'm looking forward to going to probably 3 games this year. And all their games are televised too. It's kind of neat.
Should be some fun games to watch.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Anything else we got to get off the table here? This has been a fun one.
I just had one thing real quick, and this was actually sent to me by a listener, and it was a good point. So I went and saw the Odyssey in IMAX, second viewing now. It was awesome. Ted, it was kind of funny that your take was that it didn't have comedy.
Okay, what did I miss?
The more I was thinking, it was just kind of a funny opinion. Like it was like you went and saw Saving Private Ryan and went, well, "Where's the comedy?" Like,
I'll be honest.
I don't know.
My initial reaction when you said that was, is there supposed to be comedy in the Odyssey? I was trying to think, but I don't know.
Zero comedy. I mean, every once in a while, I would think you'd lighten up a little bit, but I guess not. That's fair. You're entitled.
I just thought it was funny. I just thought that was sent to me by a listener that I was like, yeah, you know what? I didn't really I didn't think anything of it, I guess, at the time, but now you say that, it is kind of a funny opinion.
Well, your listener's dogging on me.
I just love that movie. I think they were fans of the Odyssey, and you said you gave it 2.9, correct? So you liked it, but wasn't A+. So or it was an A. It was an A.
Was it significantly better IMAX versus regular?
It was awesome in IMAX. I will say they didn't have the recliner chairs in IMAX, which is something that I've just become accustomed to at a theater. Like that's just, you have to have it now. So I was kind of surprised that IMAX, I mean, just because the way the screen is, I think that's why. but it really was pretty amazing to see. And I will say, I think it got better on a second watch.
Yeah.
Picked up on a few more things. I will say the one guy, and I had the Odyssey cast pulled up. Let me pull this back up. The one guy who I really thought with all the stuff with the pre-casting, people probably bitched about it. Himesh Patel as your locus, as like Matt Damon's like basically assistant or number one like lieutenant on his ship. I thought that guy was awesome in it. I thought he had a great performance. And then John Leguizamo. What else is that guy in? I recognize him.
Oh, he's been in a lot of stuff, man. I can't remember.
He was great.
Yeah, he was good.
So I just thought it was, and there was a lot of quotable. It just was a great on rewatch. So I'm just a big fan of the Odyssey, and if you haven't seen it yet, I would go see it, man. I really do think it's worth it.
So off the top of the dome, I've seen a lot of people doing their Christopher Nolan, top fives. Is it up there? I know you like the Dark Knight series, right? Are you putting it up above?
Yes.
Some of his other great movies. Christopher Nolan has a lot of good
It can't be
ones.
better than the Dark Knight. I still have Dark Knight 1. Man, it's tough. Maybe it is like number 2. I've never been a big Inception. I know I would say Interstellar is number 2. I would say Odyssey probably 3. Oppenheimer I loved 4. Dunkirk, which I saw in theaters. I didn't really like Dunkirk. I don't know. That was a movie that I thought was gonna be so up my alley, just with everything. The story, who's directing it, the actors that were in it, and it just didn't work for me. And then obviously I love The Prestige too. So there's just. And then you throw in there Dark Knight Rises, I loved. So I still do. Batman Begins is underrated. He's got a long list of good movies, but that's one I haven't watched yet. That's definitely one I need to watch. So he's just the number one guy right now. He's only 56 years old, so he's got a long runway to go.
Yeah, I wonder is Tarantino going to do any more movies?
Tarantino has a limit. He only wants to do 10 movies, and so. So because of that, I feel like he maybe has a little bit of paralysis by analysis, where he's done 9 movies, so he only is going to do one more movie. So I think his last movie was was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is great. I think we all want to see him do another movie, but I think that's part of what it is he's got one more in the can because of his own self-imposed rule. So We'll see.
Well, his movies are fantastic to me. I mean, they're just so off the wall. Well done. I love his movies for sure. One final comment. Did you go see Spider-Man yet?
Nope. That's this weekend.
All right. Sounds good.
I become a weird theater guy. I go to theater a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's better. I appreciate that. I used to love going to the theater. I don't much anymore unless it's to see the latest Paw Patrol or Minions or
right.
Frozen 3, Toy Story 5.
Exactly.
We saw Toy Story 5 when it came out. That was great. But no, I appreciate the theater. All my coworkers who are like Marvel comic book nerds love the newest Spider-Man. They say, probably 4 or 5 coworkers that I talked to said it's the best Spider-Man that there's been. So
I've seen it. I'll hold my review till Jared sees it. I don't know if you're going to see it.
Why did you see it? How did you see it? Why did you see it? I didn't even know that you were into that.
I was interested because it's first of all, out of all superheroes, right? Superhero out there, my number one's Batman, but probably Spider-Man's my second favorite. So I saw the buzz that it was a big blockbuster summer hit. So I thought, I'll go check it out. Why not?
That's all
I'll say, but I'll have a full review later.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man has officially taken over as the number one superhero. I mean, dude, there's been 9 movies in my lifetime. They've all been huge. Superman is, been way left in the dust. Batman is probably second and still very good, but it's Spider-Man is the number one guy. That's for sure. And I love Tom Holland. I think all those movies have been good.
Does a nice job.
Batman's going to be tough if anyone wants to, I guess, re-enter the Batman universe after Christopher Nolan's movies. I feel like that's going to be tough to get back into Batman with that.
Pattinson did the recent one, right?
Yeah, but that one's now in development like hell because they did one in like whenever that came out, 2019, 2020, or maybe 2021. But they don't think the sequel to that's going to come out, 6, 7, 8 years after the original came out. So
that's crazy.
I don't know. That's the bummer. So it's like you build up a little bit of hype, and I actually didn't really love that movie. That wasn't for me. So, but people do seem to love it. But yeah, whatever hype you built, it's like
gone.
Time is passing, and Robert Pattinson's becoming maybe one of the biggest actors out there. So his price tag to return in that movie is going way up too.
Yeah, honestly, I'd forgot about that, but it says right now that one is scheduled for release February of 2028.
Jeez.
Yeah,
So,
so it's
still
yeah,
a
it's
ways
ridiculous.
away. So a lot of hurdles could still be crossed in that time.
I guess so. All right. Well, let's call it good, guys. A fun podcast as always. We're brought to you by Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Follow the Wellness Center on Facebook for all they have to offer. Also, our other great partners include AZee Brandon Agency, Blackstone's Public House, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori and Associates Real Estate Services, Lebowsky Center for Performing Arts, also Mars Furniture and Mattress Barn, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Pickpocket Sports and Outdoors, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, Shiawassee County Fair and ALS of Michigan. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind. God bless America. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.